Our story begins with an introduction to Su Shuang, an ambitious and dreamy manhwa artist. She is determined to conquer the world and find her Prince Charming. Confident in herself, she has no idea what trials await her. Fate immediately throws her a surprise. After moving into a new apartment, she discovers that she has a new neighbor. Noticing a key in his door, she decides to be friendly and introduce herself. In her imagination, she already pictures a cute girl next door. But reality turns out to be much more shocking. The door is opened by a half-naked guy, and our heroine is so embarrassed that she is completely knocked out. This acquaintance clearly did not go according to plan. What to do now? The guy, misinterpreting the situation, decides that she is some kind of intruder and immediately reaches for the phone to call the police. "Wait," she shouts, but it seems too late. The first impression is hopelessly ruined. And now our heroine is sitting in a police car trying to explain this ridiculous misunderstanding. "I'm innocent," she pleads, but who would believe such a story? It seems that her day is completely ruined. The next day, after a difficult night at the police station, she returns home, determined to take revenge. She is sure that this Musliman is a bad guy and she will not let it go so easily. She knocks on his door, ready to say everything she thinks. She bursts into his apartment and sees that he is sick. Her anger turns to confusion. He looks so weak. She comes closer and realizes that he has a fever. What happened to this intimidating guy? He tries to chase her away, but she sees how bad he feels. "How do girls even deal with you?" she asks, trying to bring him to his senses, but he just pushes her away, unwilling to accept her help. He demands that she leave and says he doesn't need her help. He asks how much money she wants to disappear from his life. But she doesn't give up and pushes him back onto the bed because he is too weak to stand. He calls her shameless and insolent, but she ignores his insults. The main thing now is to help him, even if he doesn't want it. She sees him not just as a rude person, but as someone who needs help. She tries to leave. "Don't move, stay here," he orders. She is indignant, saying that she is not someone who can be intimidated so easily, and pours a basin of water on him to bring him to his senses. She decides to take care of him, and as a future doctor, declares that she will cure him of his narcissism. He just looks at her in bewilderment. Who is this strange girl and why is she still here? He is Qin Mo, the crown prince of a corporation, who ran away here from endless blind dates arranged by his father. He mistakenly takes her for a spy sent by competitors to ruin his life. And in his opinion, she is doing a great job. She tries to hit him with a pillow, but he easily catches her hand. "You asked for it," he says, and she realizes that with his muscles, it's no joke. She needs to run away as soon as possible. He calls the police to report the intruder. The night promises to be long and full of adventure, as our heroine finds herself back in a familiar place. And once again, she is in a police car. This time, the officers tell her that they have CCTV footage of her stalking her neighbor. "It's a misunderstanding." She shouts again, but no one is listening to her anymore. She spends the night in a cell, angry at Qin Shu. She misheard and confused his name with Qin Mo. She swears that she will take revenge on him for all the humiliation and will not let him get away so easily. She returns home and knocks on his door again, but he doesn't open it. She realizes that this guy is ready to call the police at the slightest provocation. What should she do? Does she have to give up? She can't believe she did it again. But inside her, a thrill awakens. If you can't beat them, join them. She decides she won't back down and will find a way to deal with this stubborn man. She continues to stand at his door, determined not to give up. "I'm staying here, what are you going to do about it?" she shouts, but he just steps over her, showing his complete indifference. This guy is heartless. She bursts into his apartment and accidentally hits him in the face. He is shocked, and she, frightened, immediately apologizes. It seems that their relationship is becoming increasingly complicated and unpredictable. She yells that his name is not Beichai but Su Shuang, and if he calls her that again, she will strangle him. He misheard her and thought she called him Qin Shu, which means beast. The misunderstanding grows. He is surprised that she knows his name and suspects that she has ulterior motives. But she just laughs and says, "Is your name really Qin Shu?" His irritation reaches its limit. He says that no one has ever scolded her before and suddenly praises her name, saying that it suits her. She is confused. Why has he suddenly become so nice? What is going on in his head? He calls her double, which explains her behavior and character, and adds that it is irrational. She is stunned by such an insult, but then declares that it is better than being Qin Shu. He demands that she apologize for barging into his room. She reminds him that she came to warn him about the key in the door, and he responded by calling the police. She believes that he should be the one to apologize. He argues that normal people knock first, they don't barge in. According to his logic, she is either abnormal or a thief, and in either case he had to call the police. Her arguments run out, he is right. She decides to follow him wherever he goes. Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer, she thinks. She sees him getting dressed in a suit and decides to follow him. He takes her to some grand hotel. She suspects that he is here for some shady business and decides to find out what he is up to. She sneaks after him, determined to uncover his secrets. She buys newspapers from a nice old lady, and so that she won't give her away, pretends that she works for the police and is tracking down a dangerous criminal who kidnaps women. The old woman promises to keep her secret. She sees him with a beautiful woman and decides that he is on a date. Such a beautiful girl has fallen to such a beast, she thinks, and decides to save the stranger from this monster. The waiter does not let her into the restaurant because of her inappropriate appearance. She is indignant, but then she sees an acquaintance and asks him to help her catch the guy who is cheating on his girlfriend. She bursts into the hall and sees him with another woman. In a fit of jealousy, she runs up to him and pretends that they have a child. Everyone is shocked, especially Qin Mo himself. She screams, "Qin Mo, you left me," and points at him. The woman next to him is confused. It seems that our heroine's plan has worked, but what consequences will this lead to? She accuses him of leaving her for a more beautiful girl and declares, "I have your child." His companion and he himself are in complete shock at this statement. He grabs her by the hand, trying to lead her away. His companion asks if it's true, and he replies that she is his fiancée. What? Fiancé? She herself did not expect such a turn of events. She screams that he is her fiancé and that they even have a child. The woman asks if it's true and suggests that the rumors about Qin Xiao not liking girls are true. Qin Mo's companion asks what she did wrong, and he asks her not to let the old man near him. He takes our heroine away, leaving everyone completely baffled. He introduces her as his fiancée. She is shocked but plays along, realizing that this could work to her advantage. What is he up to, and how will she get out of this situation? He drags her along, demanding that she follow him quietly if she doesn't want to end up at the police station again. She realizes she has no choice and obeys. The waiter congratulates them and wishes them happiness. She turns away and apologizes to him, saying that she mistook him for another person with the same name. It seems that she is trying to get out of an awkward situation. He asks her if she is pregnant with his child and if she is his fiancée. She is confused, but then decides that it's not a bad idea. She seems to be getting into the game. He offers her to become his fiancée. She can't understand what's going on, as if they are speaking different languages. This guy seems like someone from another world to her. She screams that she is his fiancée, not a maid. But he calmly replies that his fiancée is cooking dinner for him and there is nothing wrong with that. She is shocked by his audacity. He offers her a deal. She will help him deal with his grandfather and he will grant her wish. She is outraged by his arrogance and asks when she said she wanted to be his fiancée. He says that this deal is beneficial to both of them. But she calls him Little Pasta and says he has zero EQ. Has he never dated girls before? He says his name is Pastor, not Pasta, and that this is his last warning. His gaze becomes threatening, but she, though frightened, continues to stand her ground. "I'm not your bride." She tells him that she is not in love with him and that he is more like a girl than she is. Her words hurt him, but she is not going to back down. He kicks her out of the car, saying that since she is not his bride, he is not obliged to give her a ride. She yells after him in anger that he will never find a girlfriend and that he deserves it. She has spent all her money chasing after him, and now she has to walk home for 2 hours. She swears that she will take revenge on this bastard and will not forgive him. She comes home completely exhausted. 2 hours on foot, and then the phone rings. It's her editor reminding her of the deadline. It seems that the problems are just beginning. The editor informs her that the founder of their website wants to see her work. This is an incredible opportunity. She promises to finish everything by midnight and is determined to seize this chance. She had been walking for so long that she had no energy left for either a shower or food. Suddenly, she and her neighbor both felt hungry and their stomachs growled treacherously. Annoyed, she slammed the door shut. Pastor's assistant called him and referred to him as Dear Pass during the conversation. Qin Mo hangs up in a rage, thinking, "Now I feel like everyone is calling me a bastard." Meanwhile, she curses that bastard who has caused her so many problems. At that very moment, he sneezes, as if sensing her anger. It seems that their fates are connected by an invisible thread. Her editor informs her that the most promising author will receive support from the boss. This is her chance. She is determined to prove to everyone what she is capable of. He looks through her resume. Name Tomosu Hobisman. What could that mean? This girl is definitely full of surprises and mysteries. Finally, the work is finished, and she decides to check the comments. One of them, from user QPasteur, criticizes her work for the character's overly crude emotions and suggests that she has never been in love. She is furious. QPasteur, did he dare leave such a comment? She decides to respond to him from another account, but at that moment the computer shuts down. What a frustrating setback. She bursts into his room, but he is completely calm. He asks if she is afraid of the dark, and his composure discourages her. What is he up to this time? She demands that he turn on the light, otherwise she will knock non-stop. He agrees, but on the condition that she stays. Now you look more like a girl, he adds, which angers her even more. She remembers the flashlight on her phone, but as luck would have it, the battery is dead. Fate is clearly against her. She has no choice but to accept his strange conditions. He says she looks like a cat, then suddenly picks her up and puts her outside, saying she's sweating and distracting him from his work. What unimaginable rudeness. She is furious but notices that he is eating instant noodles. What a lazy guy, she thinks, and then the lights suddenly come on in the house. She sees that he is working on his laptop and demands silence. Her patience is running out. She thought he was a good person, but he turned out to be a real jerk. He tells her she can leave. "Do you think I want to stay here?" she exclaims indignantly and slams the door, leaving him alone. She notices that he has thrown away the sheet she was sitting on. "It's just sweat, it can be washed out," she exclaims. His disgust simply amazes her. She decides to take revenge in a rage. She grabs his trash bag to throw it away but stumbles and falls. Will her plan for revenge fail? She decides to be more cunning. An eye for an eye, she thinks. She picks up the key he dropped and returns to her apartment with a sly smile. The cover of her manga, My Cute Neighbors, depicts her. She is the main character in her own adventure-filled story. It is raining heavily. He returns home but cannot find his key. The security guard says that if it weren't for him, Pastor would have had to spend the night on the street. She watches this with a smirk. She opens the door and sees him soaked to the skin. She cannot hold back her laughter. So much for revenge, she thinks, enjoying the moment. But her joy is quickly replaced by anxiety. He looks very ill. She realizes she has gone too far and in a panic knocks on his door because she is to blame for his condition. She sees that he left the key in the door. It's a trap, flashes through her mind. If she goes in, he'll call the police again, but she threw away his spare key. She finds him lying unconscious on the floor. He's burning up. Her revenge has turned into a disaster. She has to do something quickly before it's too late. She tries to bring him to his senses by touching his hot forehead. He is indeed very ill. She realizes that she must take him to the hospital immediately. She tries to lift him, but he is too heavy. "Get out," he mutters deliriously. But she doesn't give up. "Now you can't move a finger and I'll do whatever I want with you." On the cover of her manga, he is back, the cute neighbor. Their story continues, full of drama and unexpected twists that are impossible to predict. She tries to help him up to take him to bed. "Can you stand up?" she asks, but he is too weak to answer. She struggles to drag him along. "He's so heavy," she complains, but she doesn't abandon him in this state. Her kindness outweighs her resentment. He falls on top of her and their lips almost touch. She is shocked by such sudden closeness. Her heart is pounding wildly in her chest. She tries to turn him over, but he resists. "Pastor, you're a pervert," she yells, even though she's trying to help him. The situation is getting more and more awkward. She tells him he should go to the hospital, but he refuses. "Why not? Are you in debt or afraid of getting caught?" she guesses, not knowing the real reason. She decides to stay with him because he looks so pitiful and helpless. "I'm a kind and caring girl," she convinces herself, trying to justify her actions. His clothes are wet and she decides to take them off. "He has a high fever, I have to do this," she tells herself, trying to hide her embarrassment and blushing face. The cover of the manga, My Cute Neighbor, shows him again, this time with a wet shirt that highlights his perfect abs. He looks like a real hero from a novel. She forgets her embarrassment and helps him take off his shirt. He has such a beautiful figure, she thinks, but immediately dismisses these thoughts, reminding herself that this is not the time for such reflections. He deliriously hugs her and calls her by some strange name, Bulma. "Bulma, what the hell?" She is shocked and calls him a pervert again. She yells at him to change his pants himself and tells him that dry clothes are in the closet. Her patience and strength are running out. She says that the dog knows its way home and that there's nothing special about that. He replies that she shouldn't be jealous. And then it dawns on her. Bulma is the name of his dog. She is angry with herself. Every time she tries to do something bad to him, it backfires on her. He just tells her to leave, not appreciating her help. She sees that he is burning up again. She realizes that she cannot leave him in this state because she is not as heartless as he is. She says she won't leave him alone. He sighs and says he was just about to call his doctor. She is on the cover of The Nice Neighbor again. She looks sweet and innocent, not at all like in their crazy real life. She runs out of the room in horror. He just thinks again that she's crazy, not understanding what caused her reaction. He thinks about what she said that she would stay. He sighs but immediately hears the door slam. Did she really leave? She returns with aspirin. Do you need 2 pills? She asks, still showing concern despite all their arguments. She asks again if he needs to see a doctor. Her concern is sincere and it confuses him. She sees that he has taken some pills of different colors. What are those? She asks anxiously, but he doesn't answer, leaving her in the dark. She asks if he is afraid to take the medicine. Surprised by her persistence, he asks, "Why are you still here?" She says she has to watch over him at night in case something happens. She gives him another pill, but he just looks at her silently, unable to resist. A new character appears on the cover of The Nice Neighbor, an elegant blonde man in a suit. Who is he and what role will he play in their tangled story? She sees him with a beautiful girl with long gray hair. Is that his girlfriend? Flashes through her mind and a pang of jealousy pierces her heart. She runs out of the room in embarrassment. He thinks again that she is crazy, not understanding the real reasons for her behavior. There is a knock at the door. It is the blonde man from the cover. Shinhan, says Pastor wearily. It seems that he is an acquaintance of his. Shinhan and the gray-haired girl, who turns out to be a doctor, discuss Pastor's condition. The doctor says he needs to be given antipyretics. The doctor says that if the temperature does not drop in 3 hours, he will have to give him an injection. At that moment, she bursts into the room with a plate of hot porridge. The doctor explains that the fever is caused by the rain and the new environment. She says that Pasteur is already feeling better and that she can leave. But the doctor asks her to stay and watch over Pasteur in case the fever returns. She will have to bring down the temperature with alcohol if necessary. The cover of The Lovely Neighbor features that very same gray-haired female doctor. She looks elegant and mysterious, adding intrigue to the story. Shinhun teases Pastor, asking if he has changed his taste and now likes maids. The doctor immediately appears and, to everyone's surprise, introduces herself as Pastor's girlfriend. The blonde introduces herself as Shinhan Pai, Pastor's cousin. She is shocked and Pastor coldly tells her that she can leave. Shinhan stops her, "Hey, he's talking to me, not you," and explains that Pastor and their family means she has to leave. She is shocked. He doesn't want me to leave, but his cousin does. She thinks the two of them are hiding something. Shinhan asks her to take care of his cousin and leaves with the doctor, leaving them alone. She decides that last time, because of her, his girlfriend left, and now she has to be smarter. She introduces herself as just a servant of Pastor to avoid further misunderstandings. She complains that she has been tortured all day. Shinhan asks if she would believe him if he said he was just a stranger to Pastor. Their conversations become increasingly strange. The doctor says that Pastor has nothing serious. His fainting is caused by his bad habit of being picky about food. She is surprised how this girl managed to win his heart. On the cover of The Sweet Neighbor, there is a new scene. She is sitting in a cafe and he is taking pictures of her. Their relationship is full of contrasts. He wakes up and sees her sleeping next to him. He touches her head. He still feels unwell. Her presence seems to calm him down. He looks at her sleeping and gently strokes her head. For a moment, something warm and tender appears in his gaze, something she has never seen before. He wakes up and sees that she has scattered her stuffed animals everywhere. His perfectly clean room has turned into chaos. How the hell did she do that? He thinks irritably. In such a short time, she has managed to turn his apartment into a complete mess. He sees her sleeping peacefully and comes closer. She wakes up and looks at him with sleepy, uncomprehending eyes. He picks her up, still half asleep. She mumbles, "Mom, I'm dreaming that little Pasta is holding me in her arms. What a terrible dream." His face darkens. She finally wakes up and screams in horror, "How could I sleep in his bed?" Her reaction confuses him. She asks him if he feels better. He replies briefly, "Yes." The tension between them eases a little, but the awkwardness remains. She says she took care of him all night and he didn't even say thank you. He asks coldly, "Do you think I should thank you?" He says that in the morning he watched the surveillance camera footage and saw someone throw away his key. She freezes in horror. He knows everything. She wonders how he found out about the cameras. How could he be so smart? She thinks, not realizing that her little plan for revenge was exposed from the very beginning. Her editor calls her and scolds her for not answering. Then he asks if she used another account to criticize Q Pasteur. She says she checked the calendar today, which says that today it is preferable to eat noodles. He says that her habit of biting her lips annoys him. He declares that she belongs to him and he won't let anyone hurt her, including herself. She imagines that this is a scene from a romantic movie. She asks him how he knows that Mr. Pai is her idol. He replies that his comics are just soulless pictures without emotion, which infuriates her. She is happy to tears that Mr. Pai reads her comics and even leaves comments. "Mr. Pai is my idol," she shouts. He asks in surprise if that's really true. He comes to her house, and she panics because she is afraid that he might harm her beloved stuffed animals, which she calls her pets. He says that since she craves revenge, she is his enemy, and he doesn't need to be kind to his enemies. He asks again if she really likes Mr. Pai's comics. She screams that Mr. Pai is her idol, and he has no right to insult and slander him like that. Her devotion to her idol is unwavering. She declares that she likes his comics and characters, and she doesn't care who he is, her boss, a man or a woman, rich or poor. He gives her a choice: be my servant or my bride, it's up to you. What an unexpected and strange ultimatum. He says that the security guard brought him yesterday's camera footage, and now it's up to him to decide whether to call the police. He's acting like an authoritarian boss again. He offers her two options: either be his servant or become his fiancée and go with him to his grandfather's house before he leaves for abroad. After a moment's thought, she chooses to be his fiancée. He tells her to go with him to his grandfather's house tomorrow at noon, and in the evening, he will come to her for dinner as if nothing had happened. He says that after breakfast, they will go to his grandfather's house. She is indignant that now she has to cook breakfast for him too. Damn, she thinks. She realizes that she has lost this battle. Now she will have to flatter Mr. Pai to win his favor and make her dream come true. She writes a polite reply to Q Pasteur, thanking him for his concern and calling him her idol. He responds quickly and sharply: "Do you have an IQ problem?" Her editor calls her and says she's crazy for talking to the boss like that. But he promises to try to arrange a personal meeting for Tomo. The editor gives her some good news. The most promising author will be chosen by the boss for personal promotion. Luck smiles on her again. She works hard and then the doorbell rings. Who could it be at this late hour? It's Pasteur. He sternly asks where his dinner is. She completely forgot about it. As always, he threatens to call the police. She begs him not to mention it and promises to be his assistant, cook for him every day, and even walk his dog, Bulma. She thinks to herself that it's all for her grandfather's sake. She asks if she looks good. He just utters a short HM and says, "Let's go." She has prepared dinner for him. He eats with such appetite that she stares at him. He's so handsome even when he eats, she thinks involuntarily. She comes to his house and sees that he has made corrections to her manuscript. He's a real professional, she thinks, and decides to help him in return. He finally leaves. She breathes a sigh of relief, but immediately discovers that someone has changed her manuscript. Could it have been him while she was cooking? She rides with him in the car and happily tells him that her grandfather is fine and that she will finally be able to meet Mr. Pai on Friday. She is dressed in a beautiful pink dress. He looks at her with undisguised surprise. It seems that her transformation has impressed him. Her grandfather happily hugs her and calls her his grandson's fiancée. He says that Pastor is very lucky to have such a beautiful future wife. And again, the cover of The Lovely Neighbor with her in a summery, carefree image. She is shocked by her grandfather's wealth. His house takes up half the hill. She could not have imagined such grandeur. Grandfather welcomes her as his grandson's bride and cannot stop admiring what a beautiful and lovely girl she is. The grandfather says that she can live here if she wants to. Pastor quietly asks her not to take the grandfather's words seriously because he is just a little childish. The grandfather says that they should stay for the night because he has already prepared the best bedroom for them. He is looking forward to having a great grandson. Grandpa asks her to feed him an apple and an orange. Shinhin asks Pastor to calm down because Grandpa can't be upset in his condition. She offers to peel the fruit for Grandpa, but he suddenly yells at Pastor that he shouldn't let a pregnant woman do such work. She is completely shocked by her grandfather's words. "What? I'm pregnant?" Grandfather continues to scold his grandson for treating his wife badly. Grandfather suddenly grabs his side and yells that his kidney hurts, not his heart. Pastor corrects him and she can't help but laugh. Grandpa is happy that he will soon have a great grandson. She realizes that all the members of this family are weirdos and that she has been deceived. She offers Pastor to stay the night but emphasizes that it is only for Grandpa's sake. He agrees, but only for one night. The grandfather's assistant shows them a room with nothing but a large bed. "Seriously, this is our room," she exclaims indignantly. The door is locked behind them. She screams in panic that this is kidnapping. He calmly replies that the house has excellent soundproofing. Suddenly, the lights go out in the room. She screams in terror that she is terrified of the dark. He takes her by the hand and says, "Don't be afraid, I'm with you." She looks at him and he says he'll go draw the curtains. She is worried that her phone is almost dead and she will be left in complete darkness. She says she can't go now, hinting at her fear. Without a word, he picks her up in his arms. She sits in the dark and the only source of light is her phone, but the battery is almost dead. She is overcome with panic. She says she is very afraid of the dark and cannot stay here. He notices that her reaction seems too strong, abnormal. The phone finally turns off. She is left in complete darkness, terrified, and begins to cry out of fear. Suddenly, she sees bloodstains on the floor and screams his name in terror. He immediately hugs her, trying to calm and protect her. He holds her tightly and says, "Don't be afraid, I'm with you." She cries, clinging to him and calling his name. They sleep in the same bed. She hugs him in her sleep and he doesn't seem to mind. She wakes up in his arms and screams in terror, demanding that he tell her grandfather the whole truth immediately. She thanks him for last night and says she is a responsible girl. At that moment, her grandfather bursts into the room and rejoices that they will soon be a family. She leaves, saying goodbye to her grandfather, and tells Pastor that she doesn't want to see him anymore. He smiles mysteriously, thinking about how surprised she will be when she finds out that he is Mr. Pai. Grandpa and Pastor say goodbye. She says they can call when they miss each other. But in the car, she feels how lonely the old man really is. The vet comes to her with her cat Jenny and announces the happy news. She is pregnant. She is so happy that Jenny is going to have a baby. Pastor, as always, doesn't miss the opportunity to tease her, saying that her cat is cuter than she is. She yells at him to stay away from her. He leaves silently and she, hugging her cat, thinks with annoyance, "Damn it." Her editor calls and tells her that the boss wants to meet with her next week. "Your future career depends on you, Tomo," she says. She is thrilled, yes. She shouts and begins to prepare for the most important meeting of her life. She is determined to show her best side to her idol, Mr. Pai. This is her chance and she can't miss it. On the cover of The Lovely Neighbor, the characters are depicted in a school romance style, which contrasts sharply with their real, complicated relationships. She asks Pasteur why he is here. He replies coldly, "Come with me to Grandpa's." She is outraged by his arrogance and bluntness. She yells that she's sick of his behavior, that she's not his servant, and asks him to leave her alone. He calmly says that his grandpa is really sick and wants to see her. This news catches her off guard. She is completely confused. She needs to go to her grandfather, but today she has a long-awaited meeting with Mr. Pai that she cannot miss. It is a painful choice. What should I do? She thinks, torn between her sense of duty and her lifelong dream. She sees Pastor, who is patiently waiting for her decision. She wipes away her tears and says with determination, "I'll go with you." She has made her difficult choice. He looks at her and says seriously that he will remember her decision forever. His words sound meaningful. They arrive at the hospital. She asks him not to stand there like a statue, but to come inside. She asks if he is afraid of hospitals. "How can a man be such a coward?" she says, and boldly promises to protect him. He unexpectedly takes her hand. Their eyes meet. At that moment, a spark flies between them and the world around them freezes. They are met by Shinhan Pai. He says that the grandfather has not yet woken up and that he has been here all night. Shinhan says that the grandfather wants to see her. She, remembering her pregnancy, realizes that he is lying again and plotting something. She approaches the bed and threatens her grandfather that if he doesn't wake up immediately, she will eat all his beloved goldfish. She turns to Shinhan and says that she will never forgive him even if she dies. Her anger is sincere. She announces that she is pregnant and if her grandfather does not wake up, she will have an abortion immediately. Her grandfather jumps out of bed in shock. Her grandfather finally wakes up. Everyone is happy and breathes a sigh of relief. She cries with relief that her bluff worked. Shinhan tells Pastor that his illness will not go away if he returns home without a girlfriend, and calls him Sweet Pass again. Pastor suddenly remembers that he completely forgot about his meeting with Tomo. He immediately calls the editor-in-chief. The editor informs her that the meeting has been rescheduled for Friday. At that moment, she sees Pasteur and understands everything. He is the boss. She says that today is her happiest day. Her grandfather is fine and she can still meet Mr. Pai on Friday. She explains to her friend that Q Pasteur is just another account of Mr. Pai, who is the big boss of their website. Shinhan asks why she is so happy. She replies enthusiastically that she will finally be able to see Mr. Pai, the author of her favorite Legend of Zoo. Shinhan looks at Pasteur, who whispers threateningly in his ear, "If you tell her, I'll kill you." The secret must be kept. Pasteur says that a new character named Tomo will appear in The Legend of Zoo, and he hasn't decided yet whether she will be a positive or negative character. She decides that today she will walk Pasteur's dog. He says that from now on she will walk it twice a day. Her responsibilities are growing. She says that he is not like the pastor Qin she knows because he is so gentle with animals. She notices that he took the stairs instead of the elevator, and she finds this suspicious. She sees him carving a real work of art out of fruit and calls him obsessive-compulsive. He responds by offering to take her to the bathroom. She asks why he is so kind to her. He says he wants to talk about publishing her comic. Is it business or something more? She worries that she has already disgusted her idol. The editor reassures her, saying that no one knows what he looks like. Maybe he is already 70 years old. She tells him that he is so mean, and it's no wonder he doesn't have a girlfriend. Shinhan, standing nearby, can't help but laugh. Shinhan complains that his girlfriends are scared of Pastor's dog, Bulma. Pastor calmly tells him to bring her to his apartment. She is holding a small kitten in her arms, and next to her is a large wolf. She is immersed in the world of her manga, where anything is possible. She asks him what he is doing and calls him a bastard. She says she only tolerates his antics for her grandfather's sake, but he doesn't understand how important her cat Jenny is to her. She asks what he will do if she gets pregnant. He calmly replies that then she will become his fiancée. He says that since he met her, he has been plagued by misfortune, and that from now on they are strangers. The editor calls her again and tells her that she is very lucky because the boss has rescheduled their meeting for Friday. She meets the vice president of the company, and he asks her to call him simply Watsuki. He says that she should not treat the patient that way, and reminds her that she has sent him to the police station many times. She asks if that means she can't call him about other matters. He threatens to throw her cat out the window if she doesn't return in 10 minutes. She calls him and screams in panic, "Stop, Pasteur." At that moment, she sees Watsuki looking at her in surprise. Watsuki snorts, she yells Jenny, and sees her cat in his arms. She cries and says that Jenny is her last family, all she has. He coldly asks why she's crying. She yells at him, calling him a bastard, and says that he doesn't understand how important Jenny is to her and how he could make such a cruel joke. She says that he shouldn't have hidden his girlfriend from her and that she feels betrayed. He looks at her and says firmly that she will regret her words. She slams the door but immediately returns with a bag of food from Tom's takeout. Her anger quickly subsides. She is very nervous before meeting her boss. Her friend tries to calm her down, telling her not to be afraid because he is human too. Her friend says that the boss is already waiting for her inside and encourages her to be brave. She enters the office and timidly introduces herself to the president. "Hello, my name is Tomosu." He just coldly says, She looks at him and he looks at her. An awkward silence and tension hangs between them. She can't take it anymore and asks him, "Pastor, why are you here?" He calmly replies, "I am Mr. Pai, the founder of this site." She can't believe it and accuses him of usurping Mr. Pai's identity, kidnapping him, and forcing him to work for him. She is shocked and desperate. "Pastor Qin, how could you deceive me? You're such a liar." He calmly replies, "You never asked." She meets Shinhin and introduces herself as his cousin. Suddenly, a woman appears who recognizes her as the pregnant woman from the scandalous party. She cries and says she doesn't have the money to pay him back. He offers her to move in with him and even promises to bring her pajamas. He offers to buy her dinner. She suggests going to Tom's restaurant, but he flatly refuses. She asks what his plans are for today. He says it's too late and that Mr. Pai, whom she wanted to see so badly, has probably already left. He says he will pay for her today, but in return she will have to cook for him 3 times a day for the next month, plus walk Bulma. She feels that she has voluntarily fallen into his trap. In the end, she becomes his servant and is forced to wash his dog. Then she sees the woman who was with Pastern that day, and her heart sinks. The woman tells her that if she tells Pastern that she is different from the others, he will believe her. She advises Tomo to take the first step and be more persistent. He says he needs an assistant to finish the last part of The Legend of Zhu. She enthusiastically agrees, promising to work hard. A girl comes to his house and gently hugs him, calling him her Pastern. He coldly asks her why she is there. She asks what he wants for dinner. He says he doesn't care, showing his indifference. He tells her not to come to his house anymore. She yells back that she doesn't want to be his slave. She sees him leaving and remembers that his father is supposed to go abroad today. Her grandfather gives her a beautiful bracelet as a farewell gift and asks her to call him if Qin mistreats her. She returns the bracelet, saying she doesn't want to accept gifts from his father. Shinhan notices that they really do have a bad relationship. Shinhan tells Pastor that she ran away because he overworked her. Shinhan advises him to be more friendly to her and take the initiative. She is drunk and staggers toward him. She looks him in the eyes and asks, "Who am I to you?" She says that he is her favorite neighbor and boss, and that her heart is bigger than God's. It seems that alcohol has loosened her tongue. He repeats the words best friend several times, then tells her to be sure to come to his office tomorrow. She is worried about him because he doesn't look very well. Her concern seems sincere. She reads the epilogue of The Legend of Zhu and admires how the main character shows his indifferent, cold side. She is in love with this new image. She is glad that her boss did not bother her today and enjoys going to a luxurious restaurant, which seems like paradise to her. She meets the vice president, who asks her to call him Aoyang Ju and suggests they address each other informally. She says that, in her opinion, although Pastor Qin seems indifferent, he is responsible and cares about his employees. He is actually a kind and responsive gentleman. She thanks Aoyang for helping her with her cat. It seems she has a new friend and protector. They decide to eat together. Shinhen's friend sees them and asks if he is her boyfriend. Aoyang Ming introduces himself. An intriguing caption appears at the bottom. They both lied that they were bosses. Are they really going to fight? They eat and discuss the ending of The Legend of Zhu. Tomo's friends can't take their eyes off Aoyang, admiring his beauty. She says she doesn't like it when he talks like that and that he is pastor. He says he doesn't like it when she bites her lips and gently touches her face. An explosion of jealousy begins. She leaves to get a drink, unable to bear the tension. She feels that she has no fever, but her face is burning. What's happening to me? She wonders. She finds herself locked in the bathroom and suddenly cold water is sprayed on her. Who did this? She screams in rage. She bangs on the door and Aoyang opens it. In shock and relief, she faints right on top of him. Aoyang asks if she is hurt and offers to take her to the hospital. At that moment, Pastor appears. Aoyang asks who he is. Pastor silently hugs Tomo, who is still unconscious. Pastor looks at Aoyang and says imperiously, "She's mine." But he calmly replies that he doesn't think she would agree with that. She regains consciousness in the hospital and cries, begging him not to fire her. She thinks it's all her fault. He says he will wait for her, and when she recovers, they will finish the comic together. His words sound like a promise. She says that even though she is a cartoonist, she does not have unrealistic illusions. She knows that she is just an ordinary girl. He tells her not to worry, he has already ordered food. But then a courier from the super expensive royal restaurant enters. She eats the expensive food with appetite. The doctor enters the ward and notes with surprise how well Pastor takes care of his maid. Aoyang apologizes for what happened and suggests having dinner together to discuss comics and make amends. She says she has no intention of taking advantage of him. He replies that he simply praised her honestly. She says she didn't expect him to talk to her like that. Aoyang offers her something to eat to take her mind off things. He says the company will pay for everything because she was injured at work, and she doesn't need to worry about money. She sees a woman looking at her with hostility. Her friends explain that this is the employee who was fired because of her. A friend looks at photos of Tomo with Aoyang and says that she is lucky to have such a handsome boyfriend. But another friend is skeptical. She tries to explain that they don't have any special relationship. He's just her neighbor and friend. Her former colleague accuses her of seducing Pastor to get the assistant position. She says she really likes this Manhwa and suggests holding a fair competition for the position of Pastor's assistant. Her rival asks how someone like her can be friends with the president. She calmly replies that they are just neighbors and there is nothing wrong with that. Her rival says that she must have used dirty tricks to become his girlfriend and assistant at the same time. Upon hearing this, Pastor coldly orders the police to be called and the scandalous employee to be taken away. The rival accuses her of setting everything up so that she would be locked up and then fired. He tells her that she did a great job and to remember that no one should intimidate her, including himself. He says he is busy tonight and she will have to dine alone. She is secretly glad that she will not have to dine with the little pasta. She apologizes to Aoyang and says it is her fault that he got involved in this story. Her friend calls her and scolds her for not telling her about her relationship with her boss. She feels betrayed. Uyan suggests that she pretend to be his girlfriend at the party, so that his acquaintance will stop pushing his sister on him. Her friends tell her that she is a disgrace to the company and that she should quit as soon as possible. She tells Uyan that she has already played the role of Pastor's girlfriend and does not want to do it again. It is too difficult. Her friend introduces her as Tomosu and tells Watsuki that they are not a couple, just friends. Uyan offers her to choose any dress from his friend's store to get ready for the party. They arrive at the party. Everyone admires Tomo's beauty and elegance. She stands in the luxurious hall and wonders why Pastor didn't call her. Her phone is broken and she doesn't know if he was looking for her. She thinks she means nothing to him. He doesn't even care where she is or who she's with. She feels guilty and confused. She thinks she has acted foolishly. An elegant woman approaches her and says in surprise, "Are you the maid? You're so cute." Pastor flirts with another beautiful woman, and she feels a pang of jealousy and bitterness. Aoyang notices that she is upset and suggests going to another, more pleasant place where she can feel better. They come to a cozy bar. He offers her a cocktail that he will make himself. She tries the cocktail and says it's very tasty. She suggests naming it Rainbow because of its beautiful color. He says he can make this cocktail for her anytime, but emphasizes that it's only for her. He confesses that he fell in love with her at first sight. He says that it may be too sudden and he won't rush her, but he hopes she will give him a chance. She is surprised that she doesn't feel excited about his confession of love. She thinks that Watsuki is much gentler and kinder than Pastor. At that very moment, Pastor appears at the bar. She is shocked and cannot say a word. Pastor approaches her and angrily asks why she is walking with Watsuki, calling her an idiot. She tries to justify herself, saying that she was having dinner with a friend and that he has no right to question her, since he himself was with another woman. Watsuki tells Pastor that Tomo hates him and finds him very annoying. She explains that she met with Watsuki today not as a boyfriend, but to help him with a request. She thinks about the fact that he has a girlfriend, and she becomes unbearably sad. She cries while hugging her cat. She feels lonely and betrayed. She cries for help because her cat, Jenny, seems to be about to give birth. She panics, thinking that Jenny is about to give birth, and cries for help. She cries, he tells her to stop and gently puts her down on the floor. Suddenly, his sister appears and tells them to take the cat to the vet immediately. The sister says she's just a little jealous of this girl. She thanks Pastor's sister for her help. She replies that she is Pastor's friend and of course she will help. She cries, thinking that Jenny is going to die. Pastor calms her down, saying that she is just having a difficult birth. Pastor tells his sister that Tomo is not his girlfriend. His sister laughs and says what a funny conversation they are having. His sister introduces herself as Lyra Qin, his older sister. Tomo is in complete shock. She didn't know he had a sister. He hugs her and asks if she is jealous. He says he hasn't slept all night and needs to wash up. He thinks it's all Lyra's fault for advising him to be nicer to girls. Otherwise, they'll all run away from him. He says she's shaking and it's annoying him. She replies that she's fine and her legs aren't shaking. His sister asks him what he thinks of Tomo-su and whether she would be suitable as his sister-in-law. The woman introduces herself as the vice president of the Qin group. The veterinarian advises her that cats don't live as long as humans, so she shouldn't get too attached to them so she won't suffer later. The doctor gives her a large wad of cash for her work. She is broke again and realizes she needs to change her pajamas. He says he will bring her some. She tells him he has mysophobia and shouldn't be in her dirty, untidy room. He says that if he hadn't saved her, she wouldn't have been able to change her clothes. He doesn't understand why he fell in love with her. He goes into her room and sees that she is sleeping peacefully. He sits on her bed and says, "Tomo-su, you and your things." She really knows how to ruin the mood. She wakes up and realizes she forgot to take off her bra. He says she must have brain problems if she can't even take it off in her pajamas. He bought her porridge for breakfast. She wonders how he knew she didn't take off her bra. He replies, "I guessed." He gives her a new phone and says it's from the company. She realizes that he called her yesterday and was worried about her. She wonders why she wants something romantic when Pastor is right there with her. What's happening to her? Watsuki asks Tomo if she's dating Pastor. He asks her what their relationship really is. She asks him to tell everyone that they are just close friends. He says that she is special to him and that he needs time to learn how to love. She discusses the ending of The Legend of Zhu with him and suggests her own version, where the heroine gets angry at the hero. She says she won't change the ending for them. Her friend yells at her for not telling her about her relationship with her boss, which made her look stupid. She says that she and Watsuki are not a couple and never have been. Watsuki asks her to forget about his awkward confession and suggests they remain friends. She says that Tomo is a nobody in their world and doesn't deserve the hero. He replies that in his eyes, Tomo is the most special person in the world. She reassures herself that Pastor is referring to the character from The Legend of Zhu, and not her. She sees on the news that an intern named Su leaked the ending of a popular manga online. She can't get in touch with Pastor and wants to tell him that it wasn't her. But her friend won't let her go, saying that she can't leave now. The company treats her with hostility and calls her a traitor. She says she can't leave until she talks to the boss. He says he doesn't want her to deal with all this alone. He asks if she will always be by his side no matter what happens. Without hesitation, she answers yes. He tells her not to forget her promise because he will always remember it. He takes the work card that Watsuki gave her and says that it generates an electric current near the phone. He says that, as the best student, she couldn't have failed to guess that he was behind it. She calls Watsuki, but another person answers and says that Pastor Qin has already left to gather evidence to clear her name. She is invited to meet at a cafe outside the company to discuss everything. She realizes that it could be dangerous, but feels excited. She arrives at the cafe thinking it might be a trap, but goes to the meeting anyway. She realizes that the person she spoke to on the phone is none other than the kind Vice President Ouyang. She asks if he is Ouyang. He replies that he knows everything about him and will gradually replace him. It seems he is not who he claims to be.